Hi, welcome to News in Focus today. Today's topic of discussion is women dominance in civil services. We will discuss about why women dominance in civil services is in discussion, what is the present status of women in administrative services, why gender equality is important in public administration, what are the reasons for inadequate representation of women in administration, what is the participation of women in labor force, government efforts in campaign of women empowerment, how logical is to call women's freedom a restiveness, and what is the role of women in nation building. Now we will see why this issue is in discussion. Women created history by securing 6 positions in the top 10 in the recently declared civil services examination results by the Union Public Service Commission. What makes it even more remarkable is the fact that this time the number of women selected is the highest in any year in the last 70 years. The improvement in gender equality in the field of public administration is welcome and encouraging. The importance of these statistics assumed greater significance from the perspective that this prestigious service attracts the best talent of the country and hence the competition is comparatively tough. Better performance of women in UPSC examinations definitely opens the door of possibilities for a bright future. These selected women officers will become a source of inspiration for lakhs of young women in times to come. Once lagging behind men in civil services, today women are climbing the ladder of success step by step. Women have not only earned a name in the field of management, but now their role in administration has also increased rapidly. The increasing participation of women in administrative services shows that women empowerment is not just an option, but a necessity. Now we will try to inspect into the present status of women in administrative services. Till about 2 decades ago, the participation of women in the final selection list of UPSC Civil Services examination was only 20%. In 2019, it reached to 29%. This year it has been 34%. This time out of 933, 320 are women, which is about 9% more than the last year. Obviously, it is increasing gradually. However, India has come a long way in ensuring women's participation in civil services. 73 years ago, on 17th July 1951, women in India were declared eligible for any kind of civil services, including Indian administrative services and the Indian police services. Anna Rajam Malhotra became first Indian woman to join the Indian administrative services after the new law came into force. According to government data, out of a total of 11,569 IS officers who entered the administrative services between 1951 to 2020, the number of women stood at 1,527. The participation of women in various public service jobs at the central and state level is so low that the application has been provided free for the women candidates. Moreover, in the year 2022, only 14% of the women were working at the secretary level in the IAS. Even if all Indian states and union territories are counted together, only 3 women are working as chief secretaries at present. India had never a women cabinet secretary. There has never been a women secretary in the ministries of Home, Finance, Defence and Personnel. Why is gender equality necessary in public administration? According to the report released on gender equality in public administration under the United Nations Development Programme UNDP in 2021, the share of women in top leadership in India is only 12%, which is much less than in Singapore, which is 29%, Australia 40% and Sweden 53%. The report states that gender equality is at the core of an inclusive and responsive public administration. Ensuring equal representation of women in bureaucracy and public administration improves the functioning of government, makes services more responsive and accountable to the diverse public interests. Along with this, the quality of the services provided increases significantly. Apart from this, mutual trust and confidence among the public organizations also increase. Hence, reducing gender disparity in civil services should be a priority. Now we will see the participation of women in labor force. Not only administration, today women are making their presence felt in all the fields of medical, entrepreneurship and social concerns. Today's women are financially independent and self-reliant. Today, she is showing her participation shoulder to shoulder with men not only in economic activities of the country but also in the policy making. A large percentage of women in India are working. 30% of the employees in the software industry are women. There are many examples which influenced and inspired even the conservative section of the society to think that women are not less than men in any way. At present, no such field is intact where women have not registered their presence. The role of women in the male-dominated military sector has also been commendable, and there have been participation in many war campaigns in the past. The share of women in labor force participation is still around 21% in the country. According to the report of International Labour Organization (ILO), India is at 121 in the list of 131 countries in this matter. In such a situation, in a country where the issue of giving equal opportunities to men in education and politics is being raised loudly, ignoring the fact that half of the population is not participating equally in the economy would mean that we are missing out a lot in the terms of innovation, entrepreneurship and productivity gains. Going beyond the target of achieving a standard labor force participation rate, policymakers should look at whether women are getting access to better employment or better self-employment and taking advantage of the new labor market opportunities emerging as the country develops. Are they able to lift or not? The need of the hour today is to create an enabling policy framework by encouraging women participation where there is an active awareness of the gender barriers faced by women. In this sequence, there is a need to develop effective policies to remove gender inequality. Now we will try to understand the government efforts in the campaign of women empowerment. For the purpose of providing legal protection to women, several laws have been implemented from time to time by the central government. Anti-Trafficking Act, Immoral Trade 1959, Equal Remuneration Act, Prostitution Prevention Act, Sati Prohibition Act, Dowry Prohibition Act, Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act. Apart from this, the National Commission for Women Act, Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace, Harassment Prevention Act, and etc. The formation of National Commission for Women in the year 1992 can be considered as a very important effort towards women empowerment to better define and provide women's rights and to suggest ways to improve their social and economic condition. The Panchayati Raj, passed by 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act 1992, is very important from the point of view of protection of women's rights. Under this, 1/3 of the seats in panchayats and municipalities have been reserved for the women by Article 243D and 243N. This has led to a substantial increase in participation of women in local bodies, which is a very positive sign. In order to ensure the progress, development and empowerment of women in the year 2001, the National Policy of Women Empowerment was formulated as the future outline. Keeping women empowerment in our mind, our government has not only initiated gender budgeting but with the aim of institutionalizing it. In the year 2005, the Finance Ministry ordered the formation of gender budgeting cells in all ministries and departments. How logical is to call women's freedom a restiveness? Apart from the increase in public role of women, the opinion is also becoming prevalent that the freedom given to them by women is being misused. India has seen thousands of cases of misuse of strict laws like Dowry Prohibition Act made for the purpose of women empowerment, and there have been incidents of strong women torturing weaker women, in some cases even men. In such a situation, the apprehension is being expressed that the progressiveness that came from providing freedom to women will turn into restiveness. The misuse of the provisions of women empowerment is a matter of concern, and other problems are also worth considering in this context. Many laws were made to end the evil practices related to women, but due to non-implementation of these laws effectively, women still faces problems like dowry, child marriage, female feticide, rape, sexual exploitation, etc. In India, the sex ratio has increased in the last few decades, but the child sex ratio is gradually declining. After the spread of education, even educated families have not been able to get rid of the greed of dowry. Along with this, incidents like domestic violence against women, triple talaq, halala are still prevalent in India. Still, with the existence of many social evils, it is illogical to say that women's freedom can be misused. Now we will see our final and concluding point, that the role of women in nation building. Historically in India, it has been a tradition for women to contribute to nation building and sometimes even to take the risk of nation building completely in their own hands. Women had a special place in the social and political system in the Harappan culture and the Satvahana dynasty. In the medieval period, Razia Sultan took over the leadership of the Sultanate as the Sultan of Delhi Sultanate. During the freedom struggle, when there was a revolt against the British rule in India in 1857, in this too, women tried to realize the concept of nation by contributing at their own level. Maharani Lakshmi Bai, Virangana Jhalkari Bai, Begum Hazrat Mahal are particularly noteworthy in this context. Moving ahead in the Swadeshi movement, the non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movement and Quit India movement, women made their invaluable contribution to the holy work of freedom on their equal terms with the men. Apart from this, women like Annie Besant, Sarojini Naidu, Sucheta Kriplani, Rajkumari Amrit Kaur, they were discharging important responsibilities in the national politics as well. In the post-independence era, the role of women in the nation building emerged more stronger. In the 16th year of becoming a republic, a woman took over the post of Prime Minister and carried out remarkable works like nationalization of banks, nuclear testing, Bangladesh liberalization, Garibi Hatao. Apart from Indira Gandhi, women like Vandana Shiva, Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, Justice Fatima, Mary Kom, Medha Patkar and Aruna Rai have paved the way to India to become a better nation by making invaluable contributions in the various fields. Thank you.